to the Black Dads Club. We got merch. Hold on, let me give it some hand claps for the. If you go on Black Dads Club on Facebook, on Instagram, we're gonna start posting. Please support, buy you some merch, get you a shirt, get you a coffee mug. I don't give a damn. Look, give it to your favorite dad, give it to your most hated dad. I don't care. As long as you purchase, I will be more than glad and more, I want to just thank y'all. I want to thank y'all. I want to shout out to our first time listeners, our last time listeners, the men who listen to this in the car with their wives, the men who
y'all brave.
Look,
we appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all for that. To the dudes who send this to their baby moms, just to be funny. I appreciate y'all. For the ladies who send this to the father, to their husbands, to the fathers of their children, hand claps for y'all too. Y'all
the real MVPs.
Yeah, I was at lunch yesterday with my mom, and my mom asked me what we be talking about on here. My sister said that sometimes you be right. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's as good as you go to get.
Absolutely.
That's as good as you go to get.
That's how women do you, right? They give you a little bit of praise, and then they kick you back in. Because,
exactly.
Whatever. Mike has not made a promise, but I told Mike once we blow up, he owes me a trip to Miami, Brazil, and the DR.
You know what? Can we go to Colombia instead of the DR? Yeah,
we can go there, but they got drugs down there.
They got drugs all over.
Yeah.
They got drugs here. Do you know where we at right now?
Bruh. Especially on this side of town.
Drugs up the street.
Yeah, they selling, drugs, ass, whatever you need is right outside of us.
Damn near open air.
Look, it is, man. Yo, somebody lost their job within 1 week of recording.
Hey, you know a clip we should have played for this?
What's that?
You remember that clip where that woman was like, "You about to lose your job."
Yeah, listen, sis. So last episode we talked about the black
I'm not
therapist.
laughing at her losing her job, by the way. I'm laughing at the clip of you about to lose your job.
I'm laughing at sis losing her job. Not because, look, I've lost 2 jobs before. One time I got fired for delivering newspapers at UNCC, and then I hit them with the, you can't fire me if I quit. That shit didn't matter. She was like, she said, okay. And she hung up. And then I got fired from my last job. I was only there for 6 months. But I realized, y'all see how funny Mike is.
You about to lose your job. Get this dance.
Look, let me tell you, here go the joke. I lost my job, but I realized I told bruh who was running his company that he wasn't running it correctly. But I respected the way he was running it.
Yeah.
And that shit didn't sit over well. So, he told me to get the fuck up out of here.
You can't tell somebody they're wrong.
Yeah, you can, especially not the boss. But for those who not know, the woman who self-proclaimed therapist, we really don't know if she was a therapist or not, but she told, I love the spin on this story. Look, the therapist was fired for telling men to go to therapy. That ain't what she did. But this is an article.
That is not what she did.
Look. The article saying that she was telling men to go therapy. No. She was cussing men out. She was naming her customers, her clients,
being condescending.
Look, potential clients. She was calling them bitches.
Yep.
And she lost her job because she was terrible at her job. I'm gonna just call it what it is. You can't do that. Certain things you can't do when you work for somebody else.
I mean, you can't and you shouldn't. And it goes back. So I know last episode, we talked about misandry and how normalized it's become. And that was an example of it. And I'm stunned that she's no longer at the organization. And this is the thing. I don't like doxing people online. I don't like people losing their jobs. I don't really want to go into somebody's pockets of livelihood. Like, I really, really don't. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm anti-mass incarceration in general. Okay. So it's like, the ideal of punishing someone is not something that that's a Western, puritanical, Anglo-Eurocentric type behavior.
Okay.
That's not my behavior, right? So like her losing her job isn't like a win for me, right? A win would have been if they would have put her ass in therapy. To me, that would have been a win. So I don't celebrate sis losing her job. But per usual, it's misandry disguised as help.
Oh. Her quote. Let me read her quote. Well, hello. It's your friendly neighborhood therapist who thought she could save these hoes, but got her job terminated as a result. Shit you not, I posted a video on Monday telling men that their dusty behavior is only harming them and that they would benefit from emotional intelligence. And I shit you not, by Friday, I did not have employment. All right. Mike is a little bit more mature than I am. and he's not celebrating she lost her job. But like an apology like that, or just a statement like that, I'm not.
Double down and the triple down is
amazing.
Amazing.
And it kind of reminds me of our conversation last week when we also was talking about the young lady at FAMU who was
double
getting
down,
threatened.
triple down.
And she's like, yo, if I go down, I'm taking down 3.
Yeah.
And our concept of that was you can't step in shit and then be upset and be like, well,
everybody got to come down here with me. Like, no, like that's not cool. And again, it's misandry disguised as help. And I hope she goes and gets help. I hope.
I doubt it though.
Oh, of course not. So, and here's the thing on therapy. As black men, yes, you should go to therapy because you're living with post-traumatic stress. Now, no one's going to give you credit for that. No one is going to tell you that you're living in an environment that is constantly stressful, right? Whether it's your job, whether it's school, whether it's going to the gas station, the grocery store. Like, if you was to go to this gas station on the corner, it's stressful, right?
Facts. Don't go to the McDonald's.
Yeah, it's stressful. So it's like, yo, your life is damn near under constant duress. So yes, you should go to therapy. But the way that therapy is being positioned when it comes to black men is like, y'all don't go. So 7% of black men go to therapy, right? So out of 100 black men, only 7 of them has been to therapy. And you'd be like, damn, that's low. Y'all need to get y'all asses at therapy, yada, yada, yada. And who is it coming from, right? It's coming from everybody that's not a black man, right? But if you was to look at the rates of that black women go to therapy, you'd assume that it'd at least be twice as high, right?
Yeah, it got to be
at
least 20%. That's what I'm giving 20 minimum.
Nah. So out of 100 women, 10 go to therapy.
Oh.
Right? So it's like, okay, 7 black men go to therapy, 10 black women go into therapy. I guess if you wanted to like sensationalize the numbers, you could be like, ooh, 30% more, 30, 45% more, women.
Yeah, the LeBron stats.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It like goes to therapy than
that
men.
was a shot at Mike.
And what you hear is when that's said to you in the media, what you hear is, 35, 40% of women go to therapy compared to 7% of men. No, see, it's an intentional misdirect. So we do have to be in tune with the numbers and the stats. No, 7 black men out of 100, 10 black women out of 100, right? That means that the overwhelming majority of everybody that you meet that's African American has not been to therapy, is not in therapy, will not go to therapy, right? So when you hear the argument of, well, black men need to go to therapy, and it's not tossed as help, right? Like no one is saying, I see you hurting, you should go to therapy, right? That's not what anybody's saying. They're saying, yeah, fuck you, go to therapy. Those are not the same things being said.
Absolutely. And then we got this shit. Hold on, let me see, make sure I got the right video.
So many men that don't like women, but they're sexually unattracted to men, and they have no choice but to deal with you. And they act like it, don't they? Like, these men don't like women for real. They don't bond with women. They don't emotionally connect with women. They prefer to be around men. They respect men. They get along with men. They see men as their equals. They do not view you as it. But the only reason they're with you is because they're not sexually attracted to the men. If it wasn't for sex or power, they wouldn't be with you. I need y'all to watch out for these men. Inquire about whether this man actually like women. Not if you're heterosexual.
Because I mean, again, so it's sign language.
This is simple.
It is sign language coming from a man, right? Shame, insults, guilt need to be right? He needs to be right. He's insulting you, saying that, you don't like women, which with the inference that, well, if you don't like women, you must like men.
Absolutely.
Right? Which, according to every liberal that I run into, black or white, supposedly that's okay. Supposedly every liberal has told me that that's okay, that if you did like a dude, no big deal. But every time they want to insult you, you don't like women.
Well, I don't care who you like. Here's my thing.
It's pandering, man.
Oh, this is pander. This is
fucking pander bear.
Right this is simping.
Simping pandering, yeah.
Because, all right, I have run across some men who I know, they probably just don't like women, but they are not attracted to men, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see it as though they're not attracted to women. It's just certain women they don't like, and I do question, why are you so rude to women? At certain things. But I think...
But we know where that comes from, though. We know that's the hurt, right? That's the previous relationship. That's the abuse. That's the using. So it's like they don't like that, which
Absolutely.
again is the reason why you go to therapy.
Absolutely. Now that's exactly what I was going to. It seems like, and this the problem I have.
Yeah.
Men like him, you have to sit down with those men and have a conversation with them. Because if you give a damn enough to make a video that I'm going to assume that you're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Especially after this video, after it's been already going viral, you're now going to be getting the option to get paid. So you're going to make more content like this. You're going to put more shit. This goes back to our conversation of last week. Who benefits off of black male
trauma? Who benefits from it?
So Instagram does, and the people that created it, right? And so he's going to create more videos like that. Bruh, if you're not going to sit down, and I almost wanted to talk to you about this last week, and it kind of goes to it today, and about changing and stuff. Sometimes as black men, we do got to sit down with other black men instead of just hopping on every platform just to kill black men. Because every man that I've spoken to, I'm like, yo, what's your problem with women? You realize it's a past relationship, it's past trauma, it's past issues, and the thing that you have to do is convince that man that A, all women ain't like that, B, the problem is inside, and C, you need to go to therapy.
Yep.
And that's not there. Now, to the women that are listening to this because A, you nosy, or you're in the car with your husband, please tell your friends, your sisters, whoever. It's men like this that are more dangerous than the men that they talking about.
Way more dangerous.
Because they can't wait for you to slide in their DMs. They can't wait for you to talk to them. They can't wait for you to do more bashing just for, you keep drinking while you talking to them, and then next thing you know, they taking advantage of you, and then the simping just leads to
And this is the thing. So this is the thing about, the simp culture is when they do find a woman that likes them, right? That woman enjoys the simping. Then when she realized that it's not a ton of masculine qualities in simping, she leaves that man, and then she hurts that man. And these men are more, I'm not saying that this guy is, but these men are more likely to do the petty and the aggressive behavior that's normally attributed, to why women don't like men, right? The danger of women dating men. It's men like this that are more likely to generate this behavior than a, quote unquote, aggressive man.
Let me ask you this. When you come across dudes who are like that, like the simping type, but just,
they don't have guy friends. They never do. Like, if you just, I know you're going with the question. They don't have male friends because men push bad men away from the table.
Mike don't even let me throw the alley. This motherfucker comes steal the ball from his own teammate and dunk it. Like, I'm throwing the alley.
Apologies.
I'm throwing that shit by the rim.
I'm too aggressive sometimes.
I'm trying to get us some views on Instagram. He said, nah, nigga, give me the ball. I'm dunking this shit myself. Golly.
I won't do that no more today. See how me self-correct? Like, really in the middle of it, I fucked up. I corrected.
Well, that starts actually at basketball. That's why we make so many basketball references, because like you said, they don't have friends, right?
Yes.
It was funny. I was watching the N1 tape yesterday, and shout out to Kevin Wilson Jr., who directed that. I know him personally. Amazing. But and we'll get to that one day. But the thing that amazes me was a dude said, you learn so much about men on the basketball court that we never talk about what you learn, because we deal with rejection first in basketball.
Yeah,
you deal with
the first time you're not picked or the last pick.
Absolutely.
Like if you're the last pick, man, how hard do you work at basketball to stop being the last pick?
Absolutely, not even that. Hey, I got next, and then nobody want to run with you.
Yeah,
you learn so much about that. You learn about people's decision makings.
Yes.
You learn about who's selfish.
Yes,
playing pickup. Before we get to school, then you learn like different levels.
Yep.
Like nothing is funnier than shout out to my boy Darnell, who got 2 bad knees, right? But when we go play and he play in leagues, he's like, oh, I always want to play at this league and this kind. I'm like, bro, we just out here to run. But like, he loves that challenge. Me, on the other hand, I am up here to run up and down the court 2 times. I'm taking 2 threes, and the rest of the time I'm talking shit. But it's mindsets.
Yeah.
So it's just funny.
And your level. Like, so to your point,
absolutely.
I'll hoop on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
When it's a medium type level, and then like the guys, they went and played Saturday morning. So I was like, yo, how does Saturday morning go? They were like, oh, bruh, they were hooping harder than us.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, guess what? I can't come to Saturday morning. I'm not ready for it.
Oh, y'all play D1 for real, for real.
Oh,
okay,
yeah. I'm not even about to be on the court. No, thank you.
Now, ladies, I wonder, what do y'all do? Even though y'all not listening, unless you're in the car with your husband or you being nosy, but please let us know in the comments. Now this one sucks. There's a young man who was complaining because he didn't have enough people that
show up at his concert. Wow.
And that sucks, because I was telling you off mic that I was listening to I was watching a Travis Scott documentary. He talked about how he used to go to places and it used to hurt him when there'd be 15, 20 people in there in a crowd. And now he's doing festivals, and it is how quick stuff can change. And we talked about like how that sucks, right? And to see this dude complain about, you know, not having enough people there to support and what that's really like. And then we get to this video with my mans. Hold on, let me see if I can find my mans over here.
And that was, and that what was crazy. So for one, 85 people, not a small amount of people.
It's not.
For an artist in a different state.
Absolutely.
Like, bruh, show up and put on the best show of your life, man.
Absolutely. Because these people don't know you.
Yeah. Like, those are 85 strangers. It's not like.
I don't know how.
Facts. Hold on. Let me play my man's right here who's excited. Clearly.
How do you show up every day for nearly 3 decades?
I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm a robot. I don't know how I did it. It's just something, you know, you just work and you got to feed these kids and put them through school. So I just never even thought of missing a day. The manager brought me some a present, and they said, this is, you know, for your 27th year anniversary. And I loved it. I just, you know, and then I said, let's do a little shout out video for it and stuff. And I was just grateful to have it. I'm still grateful. I've been through a lot. Everybody's been through a lot. So I look toward the smaller things in life, and, you know, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for every day I wake up that I could go to work, that I could be a good citizen, be a good American, and just, you know, do my part. So I'm just grateful for everything.
Super dope.
Dude, like, so, I mean, it was so many lessons there. So I remember when that happened, and I was like, you know, why is this dude showing this small thing? I felt insulted on his behalf because I'm watching a black man that has obviously given a lot, and they're basically giving him a small goodie bag, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you know, like, man, is he being taken advantage of? Like, all these questions go through my head. But ultimately, I'm like, damn, you know, I felt bad for him. And then I find this video, and he's like, no, I wanted to make the video. He was like, they just gave it to me. So they cared even less than what we thought they cared. Right? And that is sad. But he's like, no, I wanted to make the video. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so grateful that they came and gave me, you know, a pack of Bubblicious gum and a couple candy bars and 2 keychains. And like, just that you see me meant so much to me that I was, and it's like, yo, like, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little convicted.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes in my life, it's like, yo, I'm not grateful. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, it's like, real talk, I got to give you guys a better show, because the people who show up for us every week, you know what I'm saying? It ain't millions, it ain't thousands, but y'all show up every week. So you know what? I owe you a better show now.
Absolutely. And it make you realize that you need people like him.
Yes.
Because that person, let's say they gave him that and he made a video complaining, right?
Yes.
We'll be right there supporting him.
Yep.
We'll be echoing it. We'll be calling out Burger King. We'll be doing something. But it's people like him who does this video who said, hey, I'm happy, I'm thankful. I actually want to make a video thanking, you know, my employee, blah, blah, blah. And you get that, and it makes you be grateful, and it makes you go home, and it does make you come here and say, all right, I want to be better. I want to be able to do this. Like, I don't think, what's the longest you ever worked at a job?
You know what? I mean, when I was in telecom, I worked for a company almost 7 years.
Look, the longest job I ever worked for, I worked for a hotel for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
The 7 years felt like long.
Yeah.
Imagine being there almost 3 decades, bro.
Yeah, and the thing about it, but dude, imagine being there for 3 decades and you're not appreciated. You're expected. Like, he's expected to show up now, bro.
Absolutely.
And then for someone to, you know, to finally be like, oh, well, hell, he's been here. He's done such a great job. I'm going to give him a small, like, oh, you know, like, congrats, right?
Yeah.
And imagine that man being so grateful to be seen that he says, well, let's make a video. And we, in ourselves, in our attitudes, in our life experiences, we're like, that's not enough. And this man is grateful in his life experiences. And, dude, like, and the biggest takeaway from this is, so when that video went viral, his daughter, who he hadn't seen, I think his daughter lives in Texas, and I think he's in Chicago. he hadn't seen his daughter or his grandkids because I think she has like, a couple kids. So she created a GoFundMe to raise enough to buy him a plane ticket to Texas, like $400. They raised damn near $400,000.
Damn.
Right?
That's amazing.
That's what his gratitude got him, right? Because if he looks at that bag after 27 years and they hand it to him and he throws it in the trash can, like, are y'all kidding me? 27 years, this is all you're gonna do for me?
You don't get that money.
You never get to that point. Like, look what it took for him to get to that point, right?
Absolutely.
It took us looking at it and being like, that's insulting, right? That it took people watching that and saying, yeah, he's a dumbass for that, right? It goes back to the old adage, right? What you meant for evil, the Lord meant for good.
Now we preaching on it.
Yeah, Pastor got you.
Look,
You get 5 seconds of a Sunday morning here.
somebody did ask me, did you preach? I was like, no. I was like, no, stop. I was like, no. Don't believe the internet. I said, however, I told him you study religion.
Yes.
And then I told him about Pops.
Yes.
I said, he got it in him.
Yeah.
But he just mean.
Yeah, and my grandpops.
See? But Mike is going to be nicer next year. I put it in my goal because I'm not going to be nice in 2024 or whatever. What's next year? 2023?
2023.
Bro, I gave up, man.
Yeah, these 2020s are hard.
Are horrible.
After
But
COVID, for real.
look, but Biden canceled y'all student loans.
Man,
y'all good.
Biden did not cancel our student loan.
What you mean? He gave y'all 10 grand off.
Dude, for one, it should be 50. But you know what? Make it 10. Well, I think Pell Grant should get 25.
25 for Pell Grants.
I'll get 25. Though I'm grateful for that. I do appreciate the cap of 5% of your salary. It should be 2.5%. But
Ungrateful.
yeah, but here, see, to that point, I am going to be grateful. What the enemy meant for evil, the Lord is gonna make it good.
Look, Biden said I ain't did shit for y'all yet, but I'm gonna throw y'all this bone.
Hey, what did he say? I ain't gonna forget you.
I ain't gonna forget you. Look, and hopefully y'all vote for Kamala next year. Y'all
Is
probably.
it Kamala or Kamala?
I don't know. She don't care about black folks. So sorry, Kamala.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm gonna put it like this. I told me and my wife talked about it yesterday because, I have nothing to say about this. It does affect my household through my wife. I paid my student loans off. So I wish I could get like a rebate, but that ain't happening. But I'm not gonna be one of those people like, what have they done? First of all, I don't make enough money to be like, yo, let them pay for their sins. But I look at it and I go, he had to do something because this next election about to be turned up.
Yeah,
It's gonna be bad,
yeah,
bro.
you got to do something. Like I said, you definitely do a little more. For one, not the interest off. The interest should be 1%. It should not be
Or zero.
compound or zero.
Bro,
but
the
but I know, look, everybody, like, you have to pay something. So the interest, if debt didn't exist, money wouldn't exist. So that's like the first thing that people got to understand. Like,
Okay.
money is literally leveraged debt. So
Okay.
it doesn't come out of thin air. Gold comes out of the ground, but money does not come out of thin air.
Absolutely.
So without the debt, the money doesn't exist. So I get, them wanting to charge interest, but it should be a super low interest rate. It should not be compounding while you're not paying it.
Yeah.
And more should be done, right? Like, who cares if someone dies and they have student loan? You're literally going to resell the debt over and over and over again anyway. Like, just let it happen.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful. I am grateful.
Speaking of let it happen, Stephen A. Smith decided to give a little talk.
Oh man, and you know what?
Tell us
so
what
we
happened.
did not. So we don't have the clip. As soon as I find the clip, I'm gonna play it. But he was on Karen Hunter this week, and one of the things that she asked him, like, what was his regret? Now I'm parsing and paraphrasing this a lot right now, and basically he was like, his biggest regret was the fact that he has daughters. I believe he has multiple baby mamas. Y'all know how I feel about that on this show, and that doesn't. And again, I always tell y'all, it doesn't make y'all bad guys, but as men, discipline has to be our thing. But I'm not talking about that. Anyway, he has 2 daughters that I'm almost certain $10-20 million a year Stephen A. Smith's taking care of, right?
Absolutely.
So we're not
I
saying
hope.
he's not taking care of his children, right? We're not saying, but his regret was that he did not marry either of his daughter's mother and give them the nuclear family thing.
I got a debate that I want to say, but I'm gonna let you get this off.
So, of course, that caused a bit of an uproar, by a certain subset of our species.
Okay.
So, and Karen Hunter was like, I don't really, what y'all are trying to say he said isn't what he's saying. And I think he's right. I mean, I that has to be a regret. Like, I have a regret that, even though I do have my son all the time,
all the time.
and I am raising him in addition to his mom, and we do co-parent. You know,
shout out.
Decently well. Please, no names. Like I do not. Unlike Gavin, I do not self-incriminate.
Oh no, I only throw Jamar under the bus.
So you know, and it's like, and to that point though, right? Like, you know, it gets spicy at times. I've been clear about that, but ultimately, I know that my job is to make sure that my son understands that, you know, his dad loves his mom. Right? Doesn't matter if she and I have love for one another. My son has to understand that the father loves his mom, because that's not my mom, that's not my wife, it's not my girlfriend, but that is my thing. I don't know how y'all don't see this with y'all children. That is literally your children's mom, your son's mom, your daughter's mom. That's your son's dad, your daughter's dad. The same way you feel about your mom or your dad,
absolutely,
it's the same way that child feel about their mom.
They gotta go home to that.
They have to go home to it. So I don't get this constant bickering and infighting. And I mean, and I'll be honest, I've practically thrown my hands up. Outside of the pod, I don't like in the real world. It's just like, what can we do if we don't have that? If we don't have that level of empathy for our children, then bro, you ain't gonna have that level of empathy for anybody.
Two things. One thing I do appreciate is outside of knowing you personally, you don't never talk about your son's mom in a negative way.
No.
You won't find it on Facebook unless he got a KD Twitter burner account that I don't know about. Like, it's not on social media.
Yeah.
Even in group chats, you don't mention her. So it's one of those things, right? And it's to protect. It's like you carrying that over of what showing, not going in on his mom or talking about his mom, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whatever the case may be. You carrying that over to even your personal life as well. And then, all right. So here's the thing, and I understand this might throw us down a rabbit hole, but whatever. Do you believe if you have a child with somebody, is marriage like the right thing to do? Because I believe that sometimes, and we're not talking about the people who get married and didn't have children or whatever, but we're talking about the complete opposite, rather, right? Sometimes there's this logic of a great parent don't make a great husband or wife. So, you know, can you understand, or is there even an avenue where it's like, all right, Stephen A. Smith says, hey, I wish that's my only regret. Yeah. But is there a world where it's like, hey, just because you have a kid with somebody don't mean you need to go get married?
I think that's a cop out. Like when we hear that, like, oh, you know, if you're a good wife or you're a good husband, then that doesn't mean you're gonna be a good mom and dad. I think that's a cop out, right? You can become whatever you want to become in this world. Right? If you want to be a good husband, you can be a good husband. You want to be a good dad, you can be a good dad. If you want to be a shitty dad, you don't have to do anything. You want to be a shitty, you know, husband, you don't have to do anything, right? One of the things about college that I noticed early was it wasn't hard to pass in college. Nah. It was just super easy to fail. Yeah. Like the pathway to failure was just so easy. Right? Bruh. So it wasn't that college was hard. It was just too easy to fail. And I think that most of us are looking at being fathers and husbands, and we're taking that easy to fail path. Like, it should be somewhere. Anything that's good is going to require some level of participation from you. So, no, I don't want, like, why the fuck are we, see, y'all make me curse. Why are we becoming parents without becoming husbands or wives?
Well,
like,
that is something we got to work on.
Think of your child. You think your child doesn't want the two people they love most in their home at the same time? Are we this mental that we've disconnected what it means for a little human to become a great big human?
Well, I sent you that simp post that was on Facebook last week. It was like, yo, if you're gonna be a halftime dad, just don't be a dad. And was that? Never mind, that might be in something else. Never mind.
Yeah, but
well, you know what? The reason why I'm saying that is because I think me and Laws heard that said in here, and we was just like, wait.
If you're gonna be a halftime dad, don't be a dad.
Yeah,
I cannot with my community right now. Like, my community is just oh my God.
Look, it's a work in progress, but you can change, according to Steve Harvey. Hold on.
All men can change.
Okay.
But there is only one woman we will change for.
You got all the
there is only one.
Simp King.
All men.
All right.
I said this before.
Men will change for the right woman.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Absolutely, bruh.
Bullshit. You don't change for the right woman. You don't. You do not. There is what you could do is create a representative.
Okay.
And then you could ride that out as long as you could possibly ride it out.
Yeah.
But you have to change. You change for yourself, man. Like even the creator has told you that you have to change for me. The creator has said, "I'm not going to change you. You have to make that. You have to." That's what repentance is, right? Mm-hmm. See, y'all getting all kind of sermon messages today. Play this on Sunday. Play this back on Sunday. Just skip past cursing.
Yeah.
But like this is the thing, and I say this. I don't know where I heard it, but it was like I don't believe people can change, but I've seen people change. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you're going to change for that person. No, that's not why you're going to do it. But you can change and become a different individual.
Because what happened if that person walks out of your life? That person passes. That person decides they don't want you no more. What, you going to change back?
You going to change back?
No, but if you change for yourself, it'll be different. Now, I've told y'all plenty of times, there's how many people on Mount Rushmore?
4.
All right. Tyler Perry, Drake. I don't know how my third person, but Steve Harvey is the leader on my Mount Rushmore. Now, I don't...
Drake. Let's see. Drake.
Definitely Drake. And I ain't even mad.
I'm a Drake fan.
Yeah,
Drake.
All of these people,
he would definitely go on the simp.
Let me tell y'all, Tyler Perry and Stephen Harvey
absolutely goes on the simp Mount Rushmore.
Y'all gotta understand.
Steve Harvey. Who would be number 4?
I don't know. I'm trying to decide, and it's hard because it's probably gonna be a blogger. It's probably gonna be, and it just changes.
Help us out to get the 4th person.
Absolutely.
On the simp.
And I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm not even mad at these 3 brothers because you talking about Drake, Drake
the hustle now.
Yeah, it is a hustle.
It's a hustle.
That's why I'm not mad at it. Steve Harvey and Tyler Perry used to live in their cars, and now you're talking about one is a billionaire, one is well on his way. I'm not mad at that. But I understand that they don't believe the shit that they putting out, but they do understand that appealing to vulnerable women is lucrative. If you don't believe me, go check it. And I would love to talk to them brothers because they are uber successful and they figure something out that I haven't. But, do
you want to sell that, though? Like, if we had a podcast where we sat here and bashed black men.
Boy, you about to get us into the Jay-Z and Dame topic.
We you know what I'm saying? We'd probably be, have way higher numbers, right?
Okay.
And that would be supported by and large by women.
Absolutely.
Like, women would be the drivers behind our pod. But, being that we actually have integrity and we actually have things that we're passionate about, which is raising young black men and becoming better black men and creating a community and creating a nation, we have this podcast.
Absolutely.
So, would you, what are you willing to sell yourself out for money? Are you willing to sell your homeboy out for money? To your point, right? The conversation, like, I don't know. I don't think we're those type of men.
No, I don't think so either. And then, but it brings me to, is there a cap to what you can and cannot become if you do not pander and
oh man, I guess we're going to see.
We're going to find out because I look at it, and if you don't know Tyler Perry's story, fellas, I encourage you to go really look into it about how nobody would pick up his play, and then he went on tour himself and came back with close to $100 million and said, all right, now y'all got to give me what I want, and I'm not partnering with y'all.
And that is gangster, right?
That is gangster.
The going out here getting it myself and then, saying, you know what? If you're not going to give me a seat at the table, I'm going to walk up with a chair and you're going to have to make room.
Yeah.
That's gangster.
And then we look at what steps what steps was taken to get there.
But to that point, right? So it's like, what are you willing to give, or what level of, what has he done that costs our community for him to grab that seat? Because last week we talked about, or maybe the week before that, we talked about how misandry has been normalized, and he's a participant in that, right? What does he owe back to black men, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because as black men, one of the things that we're good at is accepting an apology and change behavior, right? But when you double down and triple down, right? We talked about the therapist. We're more or less going to wash our hand. Black men don't really get behind something and then just beat the dead horse on that shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, that's why sports is so entertaining to us, because we'll beat the dead horse of, Jordan and LeBron now, right? But, that argument is going to last about 10 years and then we're just not going to care anymore.
Absolutely. And then I look at, let me put it like this. If I had to tell Tyler Perry anything, I think he does owe black men, not an apology, but I think it's time to start telling different narratives. That's what I would have to say.
Because is he willing to take that risk?
I don't know. And so here's my thing. Now you at a financial freedom point, where you could take that risk.
He absolutely could.
Because Tyler Perry, for better or for worse, and clearly, if you look at his house, which only got 7 bedrooms in it, and that shit is huge. So the bedroom's got to be bigger than my house in the studio put together, right? And so I look at it and I say, Tyler Perry, you've made a career off of broken homes, selling this idea of beating down women that's just burdened down with so much trauma in their life, and they've overcome that. And that is a story that need to be told. But I didn't know if you need to tell it 50 times, but you did, and you made $1 billion. And I'm thankful for it. Steve Harvey, you sold a book on doing things that you do. You get on your radio station every day and you tell men how they need to be better and how women need to not choose these shitty men, and that's cool and that's dope. And you know, now we're looking at it and we're saying, yo, we got to stop talking about men being in jail, because more of us are not in jail.
Exactly.
We need to stop telling us that, you know, men aren't getting educated, because there's several men that's doctors, lawyers, educators.
Well, I mean, black men are still graduating at 18% when it comes to college degrees, and even without the college degrees, we're still out earning, you know, our women. So
then we got that. Then we got to stop telling that, you know, Steve Harvey is a man who's, for better or for worse. One thing I always heard Steve Harvey say, and I appreciated this, yo, you know, you're a father. Even if you coming into life and, you know, you're coming in and this woman has a child by somebody else, you don't need to separate that child and say, yo, no, you're not my kid, you're a stepchild and all that stuff. You need to come in. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But you're looking at him who's come in and changed the life of his wife, her children, his children. He's developing to this man, for better or for worse. But when do we get to hear that story?
When you listen to the Black Dads Club.
Exactly. So I'm looking at it and saying, yo, this is what I think these brothers owe. When are we going to change that narrative to say, hey, yo, you know what? We need to start telling more success stories of black men. We do need to talk about how 75% of fathers are married, black fathers. You know what I'm saying? Let's have these conversations. But we won't.
Well, it's hard to have those conversations, because the only way you can have that conversation is it has to be juxtaposed against something else. And oftentimes black men we're positioned against black women.
Absolutely.
Now that isn't our culture. That's never been what we've been about.
Facts.
But this is always going to be the comparison between the two. And if black men do things well and it excludes black women, then there's the assumption, and sometimes it's correct, that means that black women are not doing things well. Well, in the hierarchy of this country, black men are on the bottom. Right. The only reason why they tell you that black women are beneath black men is because if you didn't, then the only people that could create change, which most of the time in this country for any great change that has occurred, just came through black men. The reason why they can't do that is because if you have the support of your women, that's how you get through the Civil Rights Act. That's how you end the apartheid. The apartheid just didn't end because there was black male civil rights leaders that was at the forefront. There were also all the women that supported the black men to get to where they are, right? Like, they're super intelligent women. I laugh at my friends all the time because my homegirls, because sometimes they're like, yo, Mike, you'll say something and, you know, it'll be gender role based, or, you know, they'll say it's chauvinistic or whatever, right?
Okay, they right.
No, they're not, right? But then, you know, when we dive into it, and you know, I always tell them that, like, I give women all their credit, right? And I said, and a lot of time when I show how powerful a woman is, so I was on the way here, my homegirl was talking about, you know, like, we're talking about colleges or whatever and acceptance rates. And then she was just like, you know, something had came out with Meghan Markle. She was like, man, she went to Northwestern, and she was like, Northwestern acceptance rate's like 6%. And, you know, she was like, you wouldn't look at her and think that she's smart. Now, this is my homegirl. And I was just like, she's a divorcee that married a prince. Of course she's intelligent. She's freaking brilliant. You know what I'm saying? Because no one else could pull that off. And I said, and this always becomes the problem. I say, y'all always sit here and say that I don't give the women their full credit. And I give them their whole credit.
Mike, what I've been saying to you for the last year, women don't like women.
Yeah, you might have a good point there. I have a
great point.
You have a good point there.
James Harden had a women empowerment brunch, and it was like 50 chicks out there. They won't even come to their women empowerment brunch that's hosted by women. That, to me, shows me that women don't like women. How you at James Harden, you think you slick?
Well, you know, he's Captain Simp, so
He out there. He is in the streets.
He might mess around to get on this Mount Rushmore.
I don't know. He just quiet about it. You know, James Harden be with Lil Baby. They be in the strip clubs. They be giving it up. I know as like a rapper, you seen James Harden walk into the strip club. You got to grab your stuff and go.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah, money longer.
Hey, man. You know, men recognize hierarchy.
Absolutely. I hate to kill the mode of the room. 2 weeks ago, I was listening to a story, and they talked about how a man at a youth football game killed the football coach over a disgruntled call. And, you know, the only thing I was stuck on with this story was not that somebody brung a gun to a youth game, because that's tragedy in itself, and that's ignorance in itself. But number one thing that bothered me was that coach's son was at practice. This man was coaching his son's team. And then it comes out, what's his name? What's the brother's name?
Well, the brother is Aqib.
Aqib and
Aqib Talib.
Talib, yes. Yeah. If you don't know, he played in the NFL. He was a cornerback, right?
Yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah,
he was really good.
He was really good at I was looking at it, and the thing I always been on him was he wasn't just a smart. He was a hothead. You know what I'm saying? He was a hothead. And so when the details started running out that, you know, he was there. He was upset with the coach. He went back to the car. His brother grabbed a gun and came back and allegedly killed his football coach in front of his son. That, to me, made me even madder. So much so that I hit up Mike last week. I said, yo, we're not going in on women this week. This shit, to me, is bothersome. And, you know, what I guess came out to me was how as men, you know, if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for, you know, I'm going to give my pop some credit, even though I think my father was grateful that Mike was like in that middle between him and me. But, you know, I remember as being young, 21, hanging out with Mike, and Mike was telling me at this time, like, yo, your circle's got to change. Not personally to me, but just as you used to always tell me and Ez as you get older, yo, your circle's going to change. It got to change. You got to put people in your circle. And then as I got older, I realized, like, yo, you hold on to certain circles, right?
Yes.
And you try so much, even family. You know, at that time, certain family members I used to talk to now I don't talk to. Then I don't talk to now. And it's funny that I look at it and I was like, why is your brother with you at this time? And I'm talking about, why are y'all at a youth football game and you know you're a hothead, your brother's a hothead, so much so that y'all have a gun in the car, so much so that you wasn't able to look at your brother and be like, yo, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But a lot of stuff would have happened differently if you saw your brother grab a gun.
It's just a game. With
Absolutely.
the kids out there, like
kids.
There's so many places where this went wrong.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we've had previous pods where we talked about, you know, this ideal of hypermasculinity and what it means to be masculine, right? Like, I'm pretty sure he felt like a man when he was walking to that car, cussing, grabbing that pistol, walking back up to that other man, right?
Facts.
Now, ask yourself, what does he feel right now? Right? Like, in this very moment, you're listening to this pod, does he still feel masculine right now? Ask yourself, him sitting in that cold cell wearing whatever outfit that he's in, having a shower with all those men, knowing that, you know, he just left the life of champagne and caviar to eat bologna sandwiches for the next 20, 30 years of his life. Ask yourself, does he feel masculine right now? Right? So masculinity always has to be the ideal of your foresight has to be better than your hindsight. He had to know that what he's feeling right now, he needed to know that 2 weeks ago in the decision tree, right? If I do this, this happened. How would that feel? If I do this, this will happen. How would that feel? Right? He didn't decide to do that. He decided to act emotionally.
Absolutely.
And most of the time when you act emotionally, you're going to act irrationally.
And you know what? I wish, and I always go back to this, and I wish we can do it. And maybe this podcast has to be that spot. I hope that people learn to talk to their young boys, whether it's y'all talking to y'all sons or y'all, you know, their cousins speaking to them, because the minute that you can find out that, yo, your foresight has to be better than your hindsight, your life changes.
Yes.
And the problem is, if I didn't have someone like you, and especially my father, mind you, my father was trying, and I wasn't a bad kid at all. So let's not get that twisted. I grew up in the suburbs, as Mike liked to brag about, right? But it was a lot of decision made. It was a lot of things I dodged. One thing I'll say, and not to kiss your ass too much. I remember when I met Ed said, my brother, he said, I remember when my brother sat me down and said, I refuse for you to make the same mistakes I made. If you're going to make them, it's because you choose to make them.
Exactly.
And I remember I looked at Ed and was like, damn, I ain't got no older brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I listened to everything my dad said. I was that square, right? And look, I told you I paid my student loans off. My dad didn't even go to college. And I had less than $9,000 in student loan debt. That shit was gone immediately after school. But it was one of those things that, sometimes we need to, you got to pull your younger brother to the side. You got to pull your cousin to the side who you see got the hot girl and he running around and you know why he with her. Yeah. Right? You got to pull your young boy who you see, he going off to college and you got to let him know like, you
don't have to go through it to experience it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could experience that shit through somebody else. So like, and to the point, if Ed's like, no, you don't have to make my mistakes. And, and this is the ideal. When we grow up, there's this ideal of what masculinity looks like. Mm-hmm. And it's not really clearly conveyed because as black men, I would say our generation, I know you're a millennial, as you like to point out. Y'all ain't create shit. Gang, gang. But, Generation X, I believe my generation or whatever, which is like 65 to 80. We're like the first generation that really gave the ideal of how to hug your children, right? You know what I'm saying? Like how to care and love for your children. So, and that's not saying that other parents didn't do it, but by and large, it wasn't something that you really saw a lot of. Like the way that you see fathers with their children now, right? With the soft parenting wasn't really a technique that was used, during the era of everyone that watched Good Times. Half of y'all probably know what show I'm talking about right now.
I know what show.
And shame on your parents
I never
for not playing Good Times
we ain't watched that shit
in the home. But but it gives you this better ideal of what it means to be masculine, right? Masculinity is all about care, grace, and mercy, bro. Like those are the tenets, right? That God would probably be the most masculine person that we could think of, right? And that's what he shows us on a consistent basis. He doesn't show us anger. He doesn't show us vindictiveness. He doesn't show us revenge. He doesn't get his lick back. You know what I'm saying? Like he cares. And it's like, that's your job as a man, is to care. Now, my job is also to protect, right? So it's like, don't fuck around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make me do that. You know what I'm saying?
The next sentence after God.
Well, he's the same way, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, like, he's the one that flooded the planet.
Absolutely.
So like, let's not get it twisted. He
told y'all what he gonna do next time.
He gets annoyed also, right? So it's like, don't make me show you what I can become. Enjoy the grace, the care, and the mercy. As men, we have to enjoy giving that. We have like at that game, he has to say it was a missed call. It happens. It's not the end of the world, right? We talked about appreciation. Kevin Ford, Burger King employee, right? Like, dude, that shit right there convicted the hell out of me because I was like, I am not that gracious, right?
Absolutely.
But look what he got for his graciousness.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Unexpected, didn't expect it. Look what he got. We have to be willing to give that level of care. We got to be able to look at other people and see that they're hurting. And I get it. It's hard to see somebody else hurt when you're hurt, right? Which is why we got to go to therapy.
Facts.
Right?
Go.
Only 7 of us out of 100 go. We need to get those numbers up.
I need to go.
You need to go to a black male therapist. Excuse me. You need to go to an African American male black therapist.
Okay.
But because even if
you specify,
because even if you go to like someone that's a descendant of immigrants, their experience is not going to be your experience.
Okay.
What it means to be African American in this country is wholly different than what it means to be black in this world. These things are similar, but they're not the same. Okay. So it's like you need to find someone that you can express that and get those things out, and then you got to care, right? You got to say to yourself, I don't want you to experience it just because I experienced it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I experienced it, you don't have to. And if we have that type of attitude, man, like this shooting a coach, shooting a fellow brother in front of his son,
killing
that enrages me, right?
Bro,
black men that are dying right now, the gun violence have jumped through the roof, right? Like this ideal, like this ideal that we're gonna just sit around here and We're only killing one another. The motherfuckers that be deserving the shit that we could actually, sorry for cursing, but y'all, you know, I get when I get annoyed. But the people who we should be, you know, actually handling business with, they're untouched.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all had dudes out here signing bags of Skittles. He's still running around.
Bruh.
Why the violence between Atlanta and Miami is going through the roof.
Selling the gun, dog.
Bruh,
Like,
look.
Hov told y'all, like, yo, y'all letting him get this shit off, but y'all shooting each other.
Yeah, but y'all shooting each other. And, you know, this ideal of gangster, look, play the 50 Cent clip.
More ruthless people.
My man out here,
in the business world and in the street.
Lobby, he dunking.
Listen to me now.
Come on, man. Come on. Oh, my gosh. That's on me. That's my fuck up, people. Here we go.
There's more ruthless people in the business world and in the street. You know, like they just have subtleties to their tactics. How they do things is not confrontational. It's just, you know, but they're doing it right in front of you. Robbery, at least it would give you the courtesy of showing you the gun, so you can have those anxieties and feel those feelings that you would feel when you're being robbed. They'll do it on a piece of paper where you feel nothing, and just rob you right there. There's more roof.
He said they do it on a piece of paper where you feel nothing,
bruh.
And that's what y'all got to understand is that's why you have to be in control of your feelings, because see, when you feel something, you don't even know what's happening to you. Right? You know what I'm saying? You don't know everything else that's going around, right? Like, if you hit your hand with a hammer, you have no clue what's going on behind you. You know what I'm saying? You stump your toe, you have no clue what's going on behind you, right? Because all your focus and energy is on that hurt. And this is why we have to get control of our emotions, because if we want to be the real gangsters, right? The real gangsters are fiduciary gangsters. They're financial gangsters, right? They're the people that can make you sign everything away. And they feel nothing for you, and you don't even know that they're withdrawing every ounce of blood out of your body. Those are the gangsters, bro.
I know, because they be stealing Fashion Nova. Fashion Nova be stealing all these black girls' outfits and things, and they be in there pissed. Nothing was funny when I worked for the hotel, and I remember they was opening up a new bar, and they flew to Texas, right? All expenses paid, of course, right? They go to Texas. They go to some like mom and pop restaurant, stole their whole idea, bro, came back to Charlotte and designed a whole new bar. The whole concept stolen. And I remember I looked at the owner, because I had to do the job of marketing this, right? And he looked at me, he said, the best ideas are not created, they stolen.
Yeah, I mean,
I looked and I said,
what did it say? Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Yeah, and I just looked at him and I go, wait, what? And he said, everything in here has been stolen. He said, it doesn't matter. He said, but we are the Ritz-Carlton. So what? So what?
Yeah, what can you do?
What you gonna do?
What you can't do anything. So
yeah, besides accept it.
And it's like, you know, if we want to be gangsters, man, let's do the gangster thing, and let's stop having kids out of wedlock.
Oh gosh, here you go.
Right? That's gangster. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Let's do the gangster thing, and
not all women want to be married, Mike.
Then that's fine. Let's avoid those women. We don't have to date those women. Someone would date those women, man. Like, this idea that there should not be a delineation in our community is asinine to me. No, there absolutely should be. Now, I don't want to, you know, I kind of cringe at the idea of, you know, what W.D. Du Bois did with this idea that there's an elitism, right? Or there's a bourgeoisie. I don't believe in that. But I definitely think that there should be a delineation between those who do not want nuclear families and those who do want nuclear families. And I think we should divide. And I think that we should be able to, hell, it damn needs to be a option on a day nap. and to be able to have this environment and let's see which one does better in the next 50 years. I got a clue to which one is going to do better. Matter of fact, I put money on the odds. Matter of fact, no, I wouldn't.
We about to find out.
Because the odds be terrible.
They're gonna be horrible. Fuck Vegas. We ain't going back out there. Y'all saw that man on Facebook complaining about his Vegas trip.
Oh man, that is hilarious.
Look,
that shit just kept getting worse.
It got worse and worse by the video. We gotta post a video on the group because that was almost
at least
me.
We need to post it on Instagram. It'll be on Instagram later today.
It was
check it out.
Horrible. What else we got?
Things not to do. Man, that's pretty much all we got, man. I do want to say that I know we talked about the black male violence. I know 2 pods ago we talked about the gun violence. I do want everyone to understand that you are redeemable. You know, You don't believe that you just made so many mistakes that like you can't change. Like you can change, man. Anybody is redeemable. Anybody can change their whole world in 2 years. Like literally, you can be from the worst to the best in a 2 year period. So understand that, and understand that. I think this is a JFK quote. My dad just said it all the time, but I think it's an OJ. He says that a mistake doesn't become an error unless you refuse to change. So if you've made mistakes in your life, right, like, you know, whatever it is, if you just say, well, that's just the way it is, and I'm not even going to try, well, now it's an error. But if you make mistakes, you say, all right, well, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. You know, it was just a mistake at that point. It's something that you can learn from. You know, one thing about a good fist fight is that you learn that some things can be solved with words.
Facts.
If you ever get in a good fist fight, you'll be like, you know what, next time we just gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's that understanding that, you know, we've been in some fist fights, I think sometimes as black men, and we've got our ass whooped. When it comes to, you know, STEM education, when it comes to making money, we're getting our ass whooped, right? And I do think it's a time that, you know, to understand it's like, yo, we need to look at these fist fights that we're having and saying, you know what? Some things could just be fixed with studying. Some things could just be fixed by making better choices. Some things can be fixed by using our words. And if we do that, if we understand that, I think we'll end up in a better place. There was this parable. There was like, you know, imagine you're walking in the woods and you see, you know, a fox sitting by the tree, right? And you're like, oh, you know, look at the little cute little fox. And you walk over there and the fox bares his teeth, right? Your natural reaction, you're emotionally, you've went from it's cute, I want to pet it, to oh my God, what the hell is going on? This animal is rabid, right? And then it says, you know, and then you take a closer look at the animal and you see that their paw is snared in the trap. So now you've went from it's cute to oh my God, it's rabid to oh no, now I need to help. I need to show compassion, right? So it was like you go through all these emotions because you're not really taking a full view when you show up. You're reacting to what you're seeing instead of being able to see what you need to react to, right? If you see the animal and you don't have a thought and you take a full look and you sit back and then you see it happen, you go instantly to compassion, right? You don't go to cute cuddly, you don't go to fear, you go straight to I need to show compassion here. The problem is a lot of us get stuck in states where we don't take the time to even go through those range of emotions. Fact. We just get stuck on one emotion, right? You see the cute, cuddly, you know, fox, and you want to holler at the fox, and then the fox snarls, and then the first thing you do is, well, fuck that fox, right? And then you turn around and you walk off. The fox still needs help, right? And you've misunderstood the whole situation. So as men, like, we really got to understand, it's like, yo, take a look at everything that's going on, man. Like, sometimes you do need to be able to see someone else's hurt, but there's no way for you to really see that hurt if you haven't addressed your own hurt. So this is probably what the therapist was trying to say.
Yo, shout out to her.
So she should have just called me. I could have put the video out.
Y'all should do a pod episode together.
You know what? No.
What?
No. Hey, what I told you, has to be a delineation in our community. And I am the master delineator. No.
Sis, if you ever want to come to Charlotte and sit on the podcast, I will send you the information on how to get you on. Yeah. And I got you.
No.
But it might just be me and you. Might not be here.
Nah, man. I don't do bad people, man. I don't. You got to change.
Good faith arguments, man.
Bad good faith arguments only. We're not having arguments for the hell of it.
Absolutely. Hey, and we're going to holler at y'all next time.
Holler at your boy.